you get the antithesis of it all of you need to, or you feel like as a business owner, as a business, that you need to create this dependency, that you need to create this idea that people need you. That's the belief, but it's not 100% true. But you feel that if you don't keep creating content or things that people don't know or you feel like they need, then they won't need you. And if they don't need you, then how do you grow your business? How do you pay your bills? On the other hand, in this profession, like, you want people to be independent. You want them to be able to be free thinking and not just under your guidance all the time. They can encounter different situations and be able to know how to navigate it on their own. Like, you want to teach it. Like, that's better for society. That's better for everybody. You want people to grow that way and don't need your advice. You want to be irrelevant. You don't want to have people to need you. And if they want to come see you, that's different than needing you. I ask myself, is what I'm doing here more calm, more pause, less entertaining? Is it helpful? Because the audience, a lot of the audience, not all, but a good portion of the audience, is what they think is helpful. Is it helpful? Someone who's addicted to sugar, if you give them sugar, they feel better. Removing it, they feel terrible. They have withdrawals. They lose their appetite's not the same. Things don't taste the same. So in that discomfort, that feeling doesn't feel great. So then there's the assumption that because something doesn't feel good, therefore it isn't good for you. And the same thing goes with this attention, this dopamine, this needing to be entertained, this need to be stimulated. Is putting that type of stuff up as a business, is that it's going to make people feel good because that's what they think they need. Oftentimes we look for more answers than we look for the right question, and that is the question that I keep asking myself is, why can't we mentally and emotionally do better with less? And I mean, the answer on the surface is it's more fun. It feels better. There's more money in it. There's more friendships in it. There's more connections in doing things that are a lot more exciting. But is that to your benefit? Are we being your pusher man? We keep pushing whatever the content is, and we keep pushing it up, and we keep driving up the entertainment component. But is that to your benefit? And you're trying to get people to kind of be more intrinsic with how they feel about their things and do more things that are meaningful and not look at their motivation as more external. People have been in shape for a long time. People in athletics have achieved great feats from doing the same thing repeatedly over and over and over again. So it's now that we're in competition and the market of this is so overly saturated. We're all trying to differentiate ourselves from each other. And doing that by trying to keep raising the level of entertainment, the level of engagement, the level of stimulation, keep trying to raise that. But is that good for people? When you remove those things, what happens to people? Why can't we be more motivated and more involved with taking better care of ourselves, or even from a performance standpoint, getting better at what we do with less? Because we've done it before. We have the capacity to do it. A lot of business owners and people, especially in this profession specifically, worry about that, because if you got people who are thinking for themselves, then who's to say that they need you or they don't need you anymore? But if we're being honest, like that should be the move. You want to become the sculptor and the sculptor. You want to be able to move throughout this thing, chip away the things that you don't need until you, for a long time, for almost pretty much your whole existence, and can see like what's left. You want people to have that, at least have the power, the belief that they can do this thing on their own. Like that should be our goal as teachers. Go forth, be on your own. If you need anything, come back, but you know everything. Physically, we know everything. It's the mental and emotional part, the cognitive component of it, the consciousness component of it that we have yet to figure out. Why can't we do more with less? Why can't we, as in this industry, in this business, promote less so people gain more out of themselves? And how do you get people to do those things? And when we're all chasing euphoria, dopamine, exciting and engaging things, how do you get this very boring thing that was exciting at first, but when you actually have to carry it out, it's not going to be that much? And how do you educate people and encourage people like that's what it's supposed to be? It's supposed to be nothing. Before this was an industry, before it became a business, before it was profitable to have sick people and motivation to not get people well, but think they're getting well and but not fully help them heal themselves. Before it became all that, it was boring. It was mundane things. It was the same thing over and over again. You know, a large majority of the population around this world are healthy and do well, and they aren't experts at this. They don't have PhDs or doctorates. They don't have a podcast. They don't have access to the podcast or expertise, and you don't either. They know themselves more, so they don't have a problem carrying out the boring and mundane things. Because right now, the move now, the strategy, the approach is giving you a lot of frosting with no cake. Here's here's the best tasting part of it. Here's the shiny part. Here's the thing you can see, but it has no foundation. It has no structure. So even though you start off with this very exciting thing, you find out really quickly that if there's nothing underneath it to hold it up, doesn't matter how shiny and new and how good it tastes, it's going to fall apart quickly. And you get to all these podcasters and these scientists, like we discovered this new thing, and this is how you should approach your training and your eating and your nutrition. You're like, yeah, I bet it was exciting at first when you found out about it. But now you have to implement what that is on a daily basis. Now, what's that look like? It's going to be boring. It's going to be mundane. It's going to be meticulous. It's going to be something that you have to be aware of and measure as it goes and say, okay, I got to make this adjustment. But so much of our existence is not being present, not paying attention to that awareness and being more distracted, because being distracted feels a lot better. You don't got to pay attention to nothing. But in not paying attention to something, this new shiny thing that these scientists, these podcasters, these influencers found, you don't know where to go with it. So you just have this big pile of frosting and no cake to hold it up. So it's speaking to that. What do we need as a foundation? What infrastructure do we need in ourselves? And those things are not easy, because here I am telling you to leave this comfortable, fun, engaging thing to go over here to be more mindful of your thing. And as you make that transition, it's painful. It's painful, and it's not a fun time. And as you transition, because it's not an immediate switch, here's this wonderful thing of you being more dependent on yourself, less dependent on experts, and you becoming more of an expert of yourself. And that stuff is painful, and it's growth. And the process of it is not fulfilling at first, and it doesn't feel good. And you're trying to, and like that's a part of it. Like that's a part of the progression, because you're trying to work towards not being distracted, not having to be externally motivated, being more intrinsically motivated. So you're trying to get these things to be understood and get people to kind of gather them, because it's easy to lie to ourselves. It's easier for me to lie to myself and say, I'm being helpful by putting up another workout video. Here's how you do push-ups. Well, what good is the push-up video if you haven't figured out how to wake yourself up in the morning? If you haven't figured out a way to be motivated to fail at 2 and then get to 5, and then 2 days later fail at 4, and then have that up and down process. What good is me giving a tutorial on push-ups if you aren't willing to kind of go through the battle of those things and see yourself that I have to be the driver in this seat. I have to be the expert in myself, not in push-ups, but in getting myself to do these things, in the ebbs and flows and the peaks and valleys of all these things. So am I being helpful? And the answer to that is that I believe I'm attempting to be more helpful and be more beneficial, and not in a way that's engaging, that's entertaining for you, but more in a way of getting you to go more within and see more yourself, so that as you progress through this thing, as you make your leaps and bounds, as you make your hurdles and you go through all the things that you go through, you lean on yourself instead of leaning on someone else.